My name is Claudia Vargas from CVG Marketing, and today is November 10th. I am so excited to introduce you to a very, very special guest from Michigan, Colette Hughes. Welcome, Colette.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you for this opportunity, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The subject of today is inspirational stories of success, and I honestly couldn't think of a better person to interview than you. Can you just share a little bit of who Colette Hughes is?
Yes, I am Colette Hughes. I am the broker and owner of Virtual Real Estate Services. I service the Southeast Michigan area. I have 8 other realtors on my team along with me. We handle traditional sales, the listings in the sales. We handle foreclosures, short sales, homes for rent, commercial properties for rent. We handle everything, whatever we need to handle in Michigan. And so it's just an exciting time for us. Even though we're in a pandemic, it is still an exciting time, for us. And so we'll get further into that. And thank you so much, Claudia.
Yes, and virtual, that was such a genius idea. And it, like you said, with the pandemic, nowadays, everything is virtual.
Yeah.
And so how with the pandemic that has worked on your favor?
Well, first of all, let me start by letting you know how all of this really started. I started in real estate in 1988, so 32 years ago.
Wow.
I started off as an admin in a property management company, and I was just absorbing so much information and learning so much information from everybody in the company. But then the office manager there, she decided, well, I think I'm going to get married, and she was going to leave. And so she did. She got married and she left. But I was learning so much that they did not replace me with somebody. They didn't replace her with someone else. I was it. I was the person that took over as an office manager. And then I was a property manager. I went on to do tax auctions. I purchased probably about 40 properties in over 2 days at a property tax auction. There were the live auctions at Wayne County in downtown Detroit. And then came along the foreclosure market, where I had to help the banks price out the houses that were selling for $400,000, $300,000. Those properties start selling for $25,000, and they were selling for $40,000. And I helped clients purchase those homes. Then came the short sale market, where people couldn't sleep. Their mortgages were upside down, and I had to help them. I had to even help a lady. There was a person that was on her property for like 60 years, but he was deceased. I went out to the cemetery and I got that person's burial records, and I was able to clear her property for her as well. So this is a long journey that I have, and I can't really necessarily cover it all in this interview, but that's part of my journey. And how I got started with Virtual Real Estate Services, I was helping another broker close out his company. And all of his houses were like in the western part of Michigan, and I'm in the southeast part of Michigan. And I communicated with all of his different agents and brokers over in the western part of Michigan, all online. I helped him sell 50 properties all online. And since I did that, and when I started Virtual Real Estate Services in 2015, that had to be the name of my company, because I did everything virtual.
Wow. Amazing. And well, now, with the pandemic and everything, it's just perfect. So what are some clients that you obtained? I'm sure you might also get some international clients, because the focus of Michigan, it's big on, all eyes are on us right now.
Yes.
So can you share some stories?
Yes, absolutely. I started with the international clients back in 2015 when I started Virtual Real Estate Services. I had maybe 13 Detroit listings, and I sold them all to people in the UK. They contacted me. They never did see the inside. See, one thing about investors, they will buy a property sight unseen as far as investors. But because they have inspectors that will go in and take a look at the property for them and see what's going on, see the condition of the property, and they will buy the property sight unseen. But when it's a homeowner who has to feel the energy of a property, that's different. But that's what's been going on in the pandemic. We had to do virtual showings. I even sold a property to a client by FaceTime. I showed him the property on FaceTime. He came to Michigan for a weekend, him and his wife. And so I showed them properties physically. We all had on our masks, we had on our gloves, our, shoe booties and everything, so that, and we stayed 6 feet away from each other. And so they looked at properties during that time, but then they had to go back to Texas. And when they went back to Texas, they sent me an address, and then I had to show them that particular property on FaceTime. So it was kind of difficult because I know that they needed to feel the energy of that property, but that particular owner, the seller, loved that home. I knew that home had love in it. And if it had love in it, I knew those buyers were going to love that property too. And they trusted me with their services to show them that house. And they went through the whole process, and they never saw the inside until the day before they closed. They paid over $300,000 for that house, and they had never saw the inside. So that's what's been going on in the pandemic.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
And share, some crazy stories that you might have also as a realtor, that can come up. I don't know if you had some stories of any properties. I know I have plenty of stories to share, but that will be for another interview.
Exactly. Yeah, but I definitely have. I have so many stories. Of course, I could write a book. I have a funny story. So I went over to a property. The person, he wanted to sell the property for maybe like $220,000. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is going to be a fantastic listing. I was so excited about it. And so I went over to the property, knocked on the door, and then, I rung the doorbell at first, and then I noticed that the doorbell, didn't work or anything like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I called him on the phone, I'm like, okay, well, Mr. Seller, I'm here at the property to take a look at it, because I know he wanted a lot of money, for this particular property. And so when I happened to go into the home, I noticed that the home had carpet in the kitchen. And this was recently, carpet was in the kitchen, carpet in the bathroom. And, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how we're going to make a sale on this particular property with carpet in the kitchen and everything, but I got it to work out for sure. I do whatever I can for the clients. I love to look out for them. Real estate is my passion, and you have to do whatever it takes for your particular client. We had to have a few conversations over a period of time. I don't necessarily call that crazy. It's just that he did not do any upgrades to the property, and he wanted a certain amount. He almost got that amount for the property, but it wasn't going to be that amount because he didn't want to do any work to it. So it just takes all, like types of situations in order to work through some of the real estate trends.
Yeah. And one thing that you said that I think is very important as a realtor is to understand that when we as a homeowner are looking for a home, we also many of us look for the right energy, for the right energy of the home. And the right energy with a realtor, the right energy with everything, because it's one of the biggest purchases we make in our life. And
oh my gosh,
to be considerate of that, and to be able to match the house with the customer and with the seller and with the realtor, that's huge for the home buyer.
Yes, that's really huge. And I say that because you have to have a great rapport with a person. I have a lot of experience. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1988. So I come across so many different personalities, and some personalities I work with, some personalities I might not work with, but I have a whole team. My team of agents, they are definitely dynamic. and they're all rock stars, and they have drive, they have the ambition, they have the patience. So if it's something that I'm lacking as far as like personality, I might have another realtor that might connect with them a little bit better, because a lot of times I'm all business, and so sometimes you can't read, like if I am maybe want to be joking or playing or whatever, because I'm all about business. I've just been all about business like my entire life, but I try to bring some fun. That's why I try to bring some color to, you know, like situations or whatever. But sometimes my personality might not work out for everyone. And that's why it's so many different real estate brokerages and so many different people that do the same thing. But the only thing that you can bring is yourself and your personality, and it'll all work out.
And Colette, I have to say, for our viewers who has not the pleasure of meeting you yet, I don't know anybody who you know, that I know, who has not said a beautiful, positive word about you. You're one of the most gracious, welcoming. You always have something positive to say. You do a lot of leadership events for future buyers. I had the pleasure to attend one of your events where you gave us a beautiful dinner, and you had experts answer all our questions.
Yes.
And you were so gracious, and really you went out of your way. But it's not like you go out of your way, because I can honestly feel that this is who you are, you know. And really, I really wanted to do this interview because I really wanted people to know the gems that we have in Michigan. And I honestly think you're one of those gems that people nationally in Michigan and internationally need to know, and they need to work with you, because you're truly a hard worker, you're a leader, you're professional, you are kind, you meet all the dots of a perfect person in my eyes. You know, you're a very good person, and you're inspiration. You're a business owner. I know right now a lot of younger generations are going to look up to you, and they're going to be, I want to be like her, I want to do what she does, I want to work with her. You know, I would like to start like you started so many years ago. And you are definitely an inspiration for everyone to know. Now, what would you like to say to people that are looking to invest in Michigan?
Okay, to the people, I would like to say, well, first of all, I would like to say thank you, Claudia, for all of that you just said. I really appreciate that. And I have to say, I have all of this, that the love that I have and the kindness that I have. I learned this from my mother, for number one, and I learned it from my sisters and my brothers. My mother had she had 9 of us, and she taught all of us how to love. My father, my father too, that's a different interview, talking about my father, but my mother was awesome. And I received all that love from her and from my sister. I'm the youngest of 9. I'm the youngest girl out of 9 children. But they treat me like I'm the oldest. And I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I've never had children. And so I get to give all the love and any of my expertise over to my nieces and nephews, because I love them so much. And they're all entrepreneurs as well. They are amazing. And I try to do my best so that they can see a certain standard, and so that they can do the same thing that I'm doing. They can grow their businesses, and they can reach out to others. They can have compassion, and they can have drive, and they can have ambition to do the best that they can. So I appreciate you saying that. And I need you to ask me that question again.
Yes. What do you think people should know about investing in Michigan?
Okay, investing in Michigan. Okay, at this time, during the pandemic, things might be a little bit maybe unclear to people, but this is a path, this is just a trend. Just like the trend of of the short sales, just like the trend of the foreclosures. The pandemic is just another trend. So whenever you see the market doing something, then it's always going to get better. The foreclosure market was terrible for the automotive. It was terrible for the banks. It was terrible for housing, for everyone. But you see how things changed and they straightened out. So things are going to do the same thing as far as investing. Detroit was really, I mean, they're still building new things. Whenever you see builders stop, that means something is going on in the market. Something is going on in the world when you see the builders are no longer building. So that's something that you can focus on and look at. But once you see people building up houses and they're building things, things are getting better. So Detroit, Michigan, the different suburban areas, it's a great place to invest. And that's what I love about real estate. It's so many different vast areas. You can just invest in Michigan and it's going to be great for national and international.
Now, and what cities are coming back that you're working, that you can share with some of us that might want to invest back in the cities?
Oh, definitely the Detroit Midtown area for sure. They're building condos, they're building buildings, hospitals, houses. And if you look around down in that area, just take a tour of the different Detroit areas. They are building up and it's coming back and it's exciting. All of this is exciting. It's coming back. And so definitely reach out to us, have a conversation. And it's not the time in order to meet one-on-one with people because of the pandemic, but just like we're on a Zoom call right now, this is our new normal. Have a conversation with us. Let's talk and talk about the investment. Let's talk about the certain areas that you want to invest in. We can do it on a Zoom call. We can do it on FaceTime. We can do it on Google Duo. There are so many different options in order to talk about the investments and the areas that's going on that's really trending right now.
Definitely. Well, I think you have educated us about different real estate opportunities. I do see a lot of growth in Michigan. Yes. And I also see that the houses are selling like crazy even on the pandemic.
Yeah, let me tell you about that. It is a seller's market. And since it is a seller's market, there can be 20 offers on one home. If you want to still sell your property, you can. In Detroit, even in the suburban market. So there are some Detroit areas that might be a little bit slower, but the pandemic is going on. So some people that were going to sell their properties, they probably are waiting for a minute just to see what happens with to get a cure for the virus. Not necessarily a cure, but to get something that's going to stop it. And then some people lost their jobs, so they couldn't sell their homes. But the properties that are on market, we have low inventory right now. It's a seller's market. Therefore, it can be 20 offers on one home. And so as the realtors and the brokers, we have to get creative with the offers that's being placed on the homes. Sometimes if a person is occupying the home, they might not have to pay for an occupancy fee to stay there for like another 30 days after closing. So it's just so many different creative ways that you have to place the offer in for a person. They're guaranteeing cash, like if the home doesn't appraise for a certain amount, then they'll guarantee, okay, well, we're gonna guarantee $5,000 in cash just in case the appraisal come in lower. So it's a seller's market right now, and you can have 20 offers on your one home. So you'll have a lot of different buyers for that one home.
So what advice would you give for the buyer's market?
Well, it's not a buyer's market at this time. You just have to get in good with a realtor that is experienced, that can help you get, it's houses. You just have to get in with a realtor that's going to really help you, realtors that's experienced. And I'm not knocking any other real estate company, but definitely Virtual Real Estate Services. We have a lot of realtors. Like I've been in the business for 32 years. I have another realtor that's been in for 18 years, so forth. We have a lot of experience and a lot of different stories and a lot of different ways in order to help. And if, like I said, if we can help, I love other real estate brokerages too. I know people for years and years, for over a period of time, I might just suggest, okay, well, you go and you can talk to them and they might be able to help you, because we're all in this together. We're working apart, but we're all in this together.
I have heard sometimes stories of buyers that said it took us 2 years to find the right house. Now, do you think that's because the realtor was not really listening to the needs of the customers, or that really is something that can happen to somebody?
I don't really necessarily think it is the realtor. It has to, the buyer has to want to buy. Sometimes I have heard stories of buyers who are attached to their particular home or attached to their particular situation. And you have to have the mindset in order to leave where you're living at, to move to another house where you don't know anybody in the neighborhood and you don't know what's going on in that particular house, and you have to get used to everything. You have to have the mindset to do that. And if you don't have the mindset to do it, then it might take you 2 years, and you might get started and you might lose out on a home, because it's all emotional. It's very emotional when you buy a house, because the whole process, you don't just sign the contract and then you go to the closing. It's a step-by-step process. And that's what I love by helping my buyers and helping sellers. I help them through the entire process. It's a step at a time though. And then if something happens and it falls apart, then they might get discouraged, and then they'll say, you know what, I think I'm gonna wait for 6 months. That 6 months can turn into a year, and then the year can turn into 18 months, and then it can turn into 2 years, because they could be discouraged. So there are different reasons that it will take 2 years, but not because of the realtor. Because it's so many different, you can change to a different realtor. So that's, the realtor isn't an issue. It could be that individual.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, it's a step-by-step process.
Well, I know that I'm gonna want to interview a lot more, and we all want to learn a lot more from you. And I know that there's gonna be people, investors watching from other parts of the country, that should be looking at Michigan, because Michigan is it's in a huge growth. I see it that it's, the houses are selling like crazy. I have so many friends that are telling me, we bid on this house, but somebody else came and bid with a higher amount and we lost the house. And it's definitely a hot market right now for the sellers.
It is.
And I'm excited to see all the growth that is happening in Michigan. Yeah. And we have such an amazing company, such as your company, and you're so gracious, and you're such a great leader in the community, that it was important for us to interview you, and for our communities to know more about you. Although I know you're very well known in the communities, but it's especially in the Hispanic community, where I would like people to know amazing businesses with such a great reputations, so that hopefully they will reach out to you if they're looking to invest, if they're looking to buy. You're an amazing person, and I hope you grow also in the Hispanic market.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate this. I've been so excited just to have this conversation with you. And I've been excited all weekend, or ever since you asked, ever since you invited me. And I feel the same about you. You've been amazing. You've been genuine as well. And I thank you so much, Claudia.
Yes, well, so how can people contact you if they want to reach out, they want to ask questions, if they want to invest in Michigan or Detroit?
Yes. Okay. So they can contact me at Colette Hughes broker@gmail.com, or Colette at virtualrealestateservices.com. That's virtual, VIRTUAL. I think I have everything right here. I have my banner up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's virtual, VIRTUAL, real estate services, and services is spelled SVCS, and that's how I can be reached, or you can contact me on my mobile, 313-510-2091. Again, that's 313-510-2091. I would love to speak with you in person. And then, like I said, we can arrange a Zoom call and we can go from there just to have a conversation about real estate and about how I got from that point in 1988 until I got to this point right here today in order to have an interview with the amazing Claudia Vargas.
Well, it was my pleasure. And I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing your story. And you're truly an inspiration and a successful business. There are a lot of successful businesses in Michigan that need to be featured and need to be known. And you're one of them. And so thank you so much. I know it's not a goodbye, but I'm going to have you come back and share more information about real estate. And I look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.